because the NWC is currently experiencing poor water quality in a lot of the areas that are currently being served, especially in the rural areas. What you have happening now is that we are seeing results where the fecal coliform number of samples positive for fecal coliforms is above the acceptable limit, significantly above the acceptable limit in the case of the rural treatment plants. So for example, you should not be having more than 5%, you should have less than 5% of your samples coming on positive for fecal coliform, and in some cases it's as high as 20-something%. Fecal coliforms, these are microorganisms or bacteria, aka germs, that you find in the water, and they are a sign of fecal contamination of the water.
A blessed and a wonderful morning to my viewers and my subscribers. I hope you all are having a blessed and a wonderful morning. Now, my viewers and my subscribers, this government and the Water Commission have been lying to the people for the past few weeks. Now, it came out in the media that Upper Kingston and St. Andrew, the people I get DoDo water in them pipe. Yes, you heard it right. Them a feed the people with DoDo water. And when it come out, they said it is a lie. But it is now confirmed. It is now confirmed that the water is contaminated. Yes, a DoDo water them a give the people for drink, and this government said it is a lie. Now people, if you don't like and share the video yet, like and share the video, please. Like and share the video because we have a lot coming up inside this update. Bless up to my viewers and my subscribers them. We hope everyone having a blessed and a wonderful morning. Now my viewers and my subscribers, remember, in everything you do, always put God first. In every any situation, just always remember to call upon God. Always remember to pray, because a prayer day keep the devil away. Now my viewers and my subscribers, we have a lot coming up inside this update, so we definitely now waste no time. So guess what? Make a run the intro and come back. Guess what? We so forward. Alright?
So nonsense. On top of the nonsense.
I want to me tell you, see any election one again, then the man they will win again.
And the Holiness.
A thief then man. The man they have money stockpiling. You can't buy way through. Get on there.
It's a prime minister happy-go-lucky man. Youngest ever come and I wickedness.
I'm just want to say to any Jamaican, we really and truly start listen to a Queen Africa voice. Whether you're Labour right, PNP, regular Jamaican who just want to vote for a change, you see the next election here will come up under no circumstances whatsoever can you vote in back the Jamaica Labour Party into government. This part of this message is for the loyalists them too, the Labour right government.
Welcome back to my viewers and my subscribers. Big up to all of my viewers, big up to all of my subscribers. We continually support the channel and help the channel to grow. Now people, I have been missing from the scene for a few days now. I was to do a video on Wednesday, but Wednesday was my birthday. Thursday, I did tired. So I am here Friday. You understand me? I say, so give thanks to each and everyone. Give thanks to Father God himself. Now people, we have one of the worst government in a history of Jamaica. One that cares zero about the people of Jamaica. Now, there was this news that broke out where they said that Upper Kingston and St. Andrew, the people I get DoDo water for drink. And the government of Jamaica came out, Water Commission came out, and they said it was all a lie. But it now turns out that everything is all truth. Everything is truth. It wasn't a lie. Now, when a government can come out and say that it is a lie when they know that they are giving the people contaminated water to drink. Can you trust that government? When they can come out and lie to the people of Jamaica that the water is not contaminated, and not do the water wanna get, no germs not in the water wanna get for drink, the water wanna get for give to no kids, on a family, the water is clean. When them know say the water dirty, people, can you trust that government? Now people, before we go over to that story, let me play you a video from XXX that work for Nationwide News. I mean, say when Cliff Hughes himself see this, he might go bex and cut up in himself. People, check it out.
Jamaica Labour Party is a party that is humanitarian. I don't think they think about the human factor.
Do you think the opposition has a chance in the next general election?
The best chance the opposition ever know. I think that charisma
Is exactly.
Andrew beat, but if you have a look for intelligence, Mark Golden is no disrespect to Burger, and I hope nobody not take this as no. But if you look for basic understanding and basic conversation, like Andrew Holiness, we say this something nicer. Mark Golden is more of the people than Andrew Holiness. I think that Andrew Holiness is very pretentious. You understand me? I think that he plays the part of the man of the people better. Underemployment is worse than unemployment, because if you're working less than what it costs you to live and go to work, that is underemployment.
Remember, Randy used to tell us that every meal you come up.
No, and I say go. But if you have to use 5 meal to get 1 muckle, it don't make no sense. You understand me? I say? Them conversation are a political conversation. Them conversation are a life conversation.
XXX, them always say the truth hurt. But the truth is the truth. You speak facts. Write this up. You understand what I say? This right there, Andrew Holiness, is not for the people. Him not love the people. Him only love himself and love him pocket. Now, Juliet Holiness came out on a campaign rally. A labor right campaign rally. And what she's saying is that the government couldn't do no better when he put $1,000 on the minimum wage. Now, people, me hear them a brag and them a boast and them a go on and say, the minimum wage did there $6,000. $6,000. That $6,000 where the minimum wage were hot, right? $6,000 could give you a whole big trolley full of stuff. But no, people, you have $20,000 and you go to the supermarket, and when you pick up the $20,000 can't even half a trolley. You can't even come out of the supermarket with 2 bags. Good. But they're boasting about $16,000 minimum wage. Jamaica are in a crisis. And I mean a real crisis, because people are suffer real bad. But listen what Juliet Holiness had to say, my people.
Somebody said to me, why we can't just increase the minimum wage? And I said to them, I'm not understanding. When we took government, 6,200 was the minimum wage. Minimum wage is now $16,000 per week. And they said, but the government can just pay more, man. So I said, what you mean? Them say, yeah, government can just pay more. Like how they increase everybody's salary across the civil service, just give it more for the minimum wage. And that's when I realized it. I said, do you think that the minimum wage is paid by the government? And them say, yes, it's them paid. And that is when I said to them, no, most of the people who work in government do not work at the minimum wage. The minimum wage affects me and you and you and you, because a police officer, a soldier, a lady who is running our hairdressing parlor, the barber man, the mechanic, the gas station operator, the man who have the wholesale, including everybody who come and set up wholesale here in Kingston. They are the ones that will pay the increased salary. So this government, because we are responsible, have to move the minimum wage step by step by step, ensuring that it doesn't affect something else. What? Our ability to work. Because when you move minimum wage too fast, and we have moved it faster than inflation, people say, all right, you know what? We don't really need 10 people to start to pump gas here, so maybe we can work with 8. Send home 2 people. The person who could have afforded a housekeeper and probably somebody to take care of their baby say, you know what? I'm going to ask if you just get eye on the baby for me because I can't afford 2 people because the minimum wage too high. The person who would have been able to say, guess what? My grandmother at home to take care of. All right? And I want you to take care of my granny. But guess what? My son and my daughter coming home from school too, and I want you wash, cook, clean, and iron. They now say, guess what? 2 people can't do that again. Work as hard as you can, wash, cook, clean, and iron, and go and look for my granny same time. Somebody else is out of work. So when you see the Jamaica Labour Party fighting to achieve a place where unemployment gone so low that everybody wondering what's so special about us, it is because we understand that Jamaicans want to be in a position to take care of themselves.
Now, every single word that is coming out of your mouth is bull crap. And I can say that to you. Because if you realize, and if everyone realize, the only time they raise the minimum wage is when election have come up. They did so in the local government election last year, right? Now they are doing that again in the general election coming up. Why are they doing so? For political gain. So them don't want to move too fast. Them don't want to jump the gun too fast. Because they're not doing it for the people. They're doing it for their own gain. They're doing it for political gain. Look at the amount of things that this government do since it come around to the general election. When him have over 9 years could have done all of these things. But now a general election is now pending. He's doing everything that the people ask him to do. But he's not genuinely doing all of these things. Look how long the road will fix. But now, a general election coming up, and they realize that they are very far behind the People's National Party. What you see them start do? A jump round and a patch road when them couldn't patch this road long time ago. Long time ago. But people on a need to open up on eyes and realize that these people, they're all tricksters and they're doing it for political gain. They're not doing it because them really want to do it. Them not do it from them heart. Them are do it with a heavy heart. Them are do it for political gain. So on a need to wise up. Now me see people are jump up. Yeah, $1,000 gone and pay. What is $1,000? What? What is $16,000? Can it pay your light bill, your water bill, send your children to school, get them food, get them snack, and save? You are go forever be a pauper because they will never raise the minimum wage to make your life any better. They will make sure that you stay down and never get up. These people, they are tricksters that want nothing good for you all. So on need to wake up, on need to wise up, on need to open up on eyes and make these people know say time come. Where were they all along when the people them need them? Where were they? Them did a bully you know. Are running around. Have police, a beat on, make you apologize. Now them are come go no sweet talk and a sweet you up like they're with you. They're not with you. They're against you. Them just want to remain in a power so them can take advantage of you. Use your brain and stop use your forehead. Be smart, be wise. You understand what I say? Now people state a thought and that down below in the comment section, and please leave a like on this video. We're moving on to the next story.
National Water Commission's Water Quality Monitoring Report for February, the presence of coliform and chlorine were higher than the standard 5% and 95% respectively in rural St. Andrew. Junior Shadow Spokesman on Health and Wellness, Jesse James Clark.
At source, which is that blue bar, it's almost 5 times the allowable limit. So you have 5 times the amount of germs that should be in the water presently. And these are coliforms, which means that you have very bad water quality after the water was treated. Because at source, this is at the plant when they have brought the water through their treatment process and tested it to see if the treatment process had worked. And you see that it's way above the allowable limit. And knowing this, the water was still distributed, and you have in distribution where it's almost 3 times the allowable limit.
Say, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
It's at 17 in the yellow bar.
Coliform is a bacteria that is found in the soil, surface water, and the intestines of humans and animals. It doesn't necessarily cause illnesses, but it's an indicator that there are microorganisms that can cause diseases in the water.
I said, wait a minute, wait a minute.
TVJ News obtained a full copy of the lab results of the water samples tested in Kingston and St. Andrew, as well as rural St. Andrew for January also. The coliform positivity rate in the KSA was below the threshold at the source. It was at the 5% limit by the time it came through the pipes. In rural St. Andrew, however, the coliform positivity rate was above the 5% at both the treatment plant and when it was distributed at 12%. TVJ News requested the monthly report from the NWC for March. We didn't receive it up to news time. However, Communications Manager Delana Williams committed to providing the data as soon as it is available. Jesse James Clark, who chairs the Water and Sanitation Committee at the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, says the agency needs to provide an update to the public.
Until NWC comes out and share the results, and also tell us the infrastructure work that was done to improve the water treatment process in a lot of these facilities. They should definitely, I recommend they should always boil the water before you drink it. And I know a lot of persons use household filters. Those are also helpful to as well to get some of the contaminants out of your pipe.
Last week, the NWC in a statement revealed that 6 of 311 water samples taken in February tested positive for fecal coliform. It didn't say where the samples were taken from, nor the communities that would have been impacted. If consumed, it can cause diarrhea, vomiting, stomach cramps, or even more serious illnesses like typhoid fever. The NWC says water from rural sources are impacted by domestic or farming practices. However, it maintains that the water is safe for consumption. The statement went on to say that whenever there are water quality issues, the system is immediately flushed and sanitation and retesting done before the system is restarted.
Now, the people of Jamaica must be mindful and be weird of the water that they're drinking from the pipe, because the water is contaminated. Them have DoDo, feces, in the water, where them have a give to the people, and them not sound no alarm. If it wasn't for the People's National Party, then you know what would have happened? People would still be there drinking DoDo water without anyone saying anything to the people, and that is wickedness. Now, when the story broke out, they said it was all a lie. Now it turns out that everything that was said is true. It is true. These people are all liars. We don't know how to spell the truth to their own people. And that is a national disgrace.
Dear Jamaicans, now remember this video when I post about 2 weeks ago talking about the quality of the drinking water in the Kingston and St. Andrew area? Remember that this gentleman who is Jesse James Clark, the deputy spokesperson on health for the PNP, he's also a microbiologist and a food tester by profession. He came public and said that the KSAC water is contaminated by fecal coliform, which basically means the water shitty. Remember all of that? But remember afterwards, say, the minister, Matthew Samuda, come out and say it's lie, and the whole of JLP come out and say it's lie. Well, guess what? We have the report. The report dropped. Yes, man. We have the report, and I'm going to read for you this report, but I want to point out what the report stated. The report actually stated that the normal levels for the fecal coliform, which is basically shit particles, should be less than 5, whatever the measurement is, and it's the current number is over 20 in the catchment area. This water source, mean where do we collect the water from? So look at this. So here we have the graph, right? And this is 2 graphs. So we have they check the water at the Kingston and St. Andrew area, meaning in town where the water is stored, and they checked it at the source, right? So the source and the distribution, right? So if you look over here, saying rural St. Andrew, you'll see that rural St. Andrew, which still falls under the KSAC, at the source, there is over 20%, 20, whatever that. Okay, so it's coliform particles, right? So it's 23, and the norm is supposed to be 5. You can see that. So at the source, it's basically 23, and at the distribution, meaning where we get in the water, it is 17, which is still way above. So we are basically getting shitty water through the pipe, and this is the people who are in rural St. Andrew. It didn't specify whether it was East Rural or West Rural, but this is rural St. Andrew. This is the data for rural St. Andrew. I would really love to see the data from everywhere else, all the other parishes. But stick up in, I want to read the report for you. All right, so I have the report here, reading it from the next phone. The water quality assurance, and this is the KSA distribution and source report of February 2025. The table below represents, and that's the table you're looking at, represents the water quality data obtained for Eastern Division sources and distribution network for the month of February 2025 in Kingston and St. Andrew, KSA. KSA is broken down into 2 zones, given the different impact of each. Zone 1, which is Kingston and St. Andrew, and Zone 2, which is rural St. Andrew. The standards stipulated by WHO IJAM are as follows. The coliform positivity rate for total source and distribution samples analyzed should be less than or equal to 5%, right? The total source and distribution samples should have residual chlorine of greater than or equal to 95%. You're hearing that, all right? So when you look at the table, you realize that for Kingston and St. Andrew, right, the coliform percentage, right, is 3.8. Wait, the total is 3.8. So it's 1.8 at the source and 5 at the distribution. That is fine. Now for rural St. Andrew, it's 21. The total is 21.2, but it's 23.1 at the source and 16.7 at the distribution. So the water, the drinking water in rural St. Andrew is contaminated. That is what this is saying. All right. The coliform positivity rate in the distribution network was higher within the distribution network for urban KSA. Rural KSA, however, experienced the reverse with the coliform positivity rate slightly higher at the source than within the distribution network. It is to be noted that overall chlorine positivity rate for the zone was compliant with the set standards. The main cause of increased positivity at the source is the dynamic raw water quality within the rural communities, right? So this is what it says. So these factors at times will impact our treatment regimen, increasing the required contact time for effective chlorination. So this is where the issue lies. So the water needs to be, the water is not being treated properly, right? So it says the contact time is the period which chlorine is in contact with the water, and this is crucial for effective disinfection, as it allows chlorine to inactivate the microorganisms. So the more of the coliform, fecal coliform in the water, the longer it needs to be exposed to the chlorine, and this is what is not being done. High organic matter and chemicals present in the raw water emanating from pesticide consumes chlorine, reducing its effectiveness, thus increasing required contact time. All right. So basically, the water is contaminated. So when Matthew Samuda and the GLP go out there and tell us foolishness, the study is there. And we are circulating it, so you must see it. All right. So again, yesterday, me show yesterday my lie, you know. Remember, say yesterday, after them claims say, Arab, what the airline name? Air Emirates said them have direct flight to come here. The people them come out and say nothing don't go. So see there again, no, this them claim says lie. The water not contaminated. Here are the studies. The water is contaminated. They need to treat the water effectively and stop give the people them shitty water for drink. I thank you. Have yourself a great day.
Now there you have it, my viewers and my subscribers. Contaminated water them a give the people them for drink. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Leave a like on this video, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed as yet, my people. You understand me? I say now I am going to leave you with this video where Andrew Holiness give the people them water and then him take it back from them.
After the Prime Minister come at the mountain and Mason come say water go run. As the Prime Minister left and they take down back the water. What kind of trick this? Take down back the water. What kind of trick this?
They specialize in gimmicks. We specialize in real solutions.
But there's even more information in the slides that the Prime Minister presented. In the slides that the Prime Minister presented, it proved that he had the worst performance since he got the baton. Indeed, in 2002-2007, the inflation was 18.5% on average. The Bruce Golding government received the baton and reduced it by 6.2 percentage points and carried it down to 12.3%. The Portia Simpson Miller government got it and reduced it by 6 percentage points and carried down to 6.3%. Andrew Holiness got it and carried down to 5.5, a reduction of less than 1 percentage point. So he's making a big deal about look how me fast when it's just that he got a good batter. Prime Minister Bruce Golding reduced it by 6 percentage points. Prime Minister Portia Simpson reduced it by a further 6 percentage points. Yet they tried to convince us that the best Prime Minister we have ever seen reduced it by less than 1 percentage point. I had to ensure that a picture like this exists, but Holiness has done the least. That's a KC man winning that race so beautifully, as we will later today. And Calabar is already at 4th or 5th or something like that. I'm afraid they're way around the corner. But I think they're coming behind even Edith Dalton today. Edith Dalton will beat them. So with the baton, he has done the least.
Brother, me I talk of my own experience, you know. I experience teaches wisdom. The experience is what I have with the both side, brother. I choose the side now. If you tell us that this side is more eligible for run the country.